Welcome back to Removing the Mask Friday. We often talk about the things in which we endure while in these abusive relationships. We very seldom talk about the things in which take place after we leave these relationships. Case in point, the effects it has on our future or current relationships after being abused in many ways for so long. Oftentimes, domestic violence victims, as a result of leaving these relationships or being involved in these relationships, suffer with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, insomnia, panic attacks, alcoholism, substance abuse, or self-medication, medications from doctors, and so on. As a result of all of these, we now take all of this into these new relationships, and oftentimes our future relationships, our partners suffer because they're not understanding, one, why you're waking up 4 hours in the night in a cold sweat or hot sweat, or why you're all of a sudden jumping on them or starting an argument before they even start, or even before they even open their mouth, or you kind of might experience a blackout and all of a sudden you're looking at your new partner like they're your ex-partner. There are many things in which we have to suffer with and deal with when we leave these relationships. And a lot of times our partners, if they aren't abusive, haven't a clue what is going on. And they can take it personal. Me personally, I was one that done a lot of flinching. I was one that would beat him to the punch. I'll tell him off before he told me off, only because I didn't want him to get me like my past or my ex had gotten me. You know, I would quickly say, I'm not going to be attached. I was so separated from my future relationship, which is now, that it caused us a lot of issues. I was very disconnected. And all because I suffered extreme anxiety attacks, and all of that was just part of what I experienced while in domestic violence relationships. I just feel that it's important that we not just sit where we were, but to talk about the after effects. And many of us go into these new relationships without no counseling, without no forms of treatment, and so forth. I just feel that if you are struggling and you are in a new relationship and you're constantly bickering, or your partner's constantly telling you the behaviors you're portraying is frightening them, or after you catch yourself, you realize they don't deserve it, or even if you're having panic attacks or suffering with depression, anxiety, insomnia, all of these things, go seek help. Because I know for me, many years ago, when nobody knew what I was going through, I had to seek help. And I didn't seek help willingly. I ended up getting in a situation where I had to get help because it was so extreme. And I doubt up to today, many people knew. My partner knew at the time because they saw me experience an anxiety attack and took me to the hospital. And I covered up for him. Ain't that funny? But I just feel that we need to talk about the then in the relationships, and those of us that are out, we need to talk about what happens after. There are so many more things we all have to talk about and share to help each other. My name is Tina Laws, founder of Under Construction, and I try to share little tidbits to encourage you to do the same. All of you who have gotten out of these relationships, don't leave those who are still in those relationships hanging, because sometimes all it takes is that one person. I had many people tell me get out of that relationship before I was even admitting I was in an abusive relationship, and it was just that one person that I didn't even realize saw what I was going through, even though I denied it. But because I heard her story, which sounded very similar to mine, I walked away. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you next week.